Welcome to the You Can't Afford Me podcast, where we skip the fluff and dive straight into the grind. Real entrepreneurs, real struggles, and the unfiltered journey behind success. Let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for joining us on another episode of the You Can't Afford Me podcast. I'll say it again, one thing I love about doing these interviews is I get to meet awesome people, great organizations that they work with. And oftentimes when you guys see us on the podcast, on camera, we're literally meeting for the first time. So today is one of those cases. Today we have Tanya on the podcast. How you doing today?
I'm well. Nice. Thank you for having me. It's fun.
Absolutely. So give everybody a quick rundown of who you are and what you do.
Sure. I am Tonya Pulliam, and I am the executive director for a nonprofit called Sarah's Den / the Unique Resource Center.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also the CEO of a program called the PICF Training Institute that works with youth aging out of foster care.
Okay, nice. So kind of break both of those organizations down a little bit.
I'll try. So PICF is the parent company.
Mm-hmm.
That is a for-profit organization that works with youth aging out of foster care. We place them into apartments and help them get life skills to learn to become self-sufficient.
Yep.
So lots of counseling and job, employment skills, you name it, everything to be a young adult on their own.
Yep.
So we do that.
Let's park it there for a
Sure,
minute.
sure.
So you don't know this about me yet. I used to work in the mental health field for like 10 years.
Cool.
Yeah. So talk to us about that issue because I was primarily dealing with, younger generation under 18,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like the state, the government on a national basis is like the second you turn 18, it doesn't matter what's wrong with you mentally,
Yep.
you're on your own. Talk about the gap that's there and
Sure.
how you guys are providing that service.
So many years ago, about maybe 15 years ago, that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
That was what happened. At 18, people aged out and they were left to fend for themselves.
Yeah.
And our outcomes for Virginia were really, really bad. We were second to last in the country for
Jeez.
positive outcomes for youth aging out of foster care. So a new initiative came in probably in the last about 8 to 10 years. It's called Fostering Futures, that really invest in those young adults, giving them an opportunity to stay in some services from 18 to 21.
Okay.
Still not the greatest,
Yeah.
but it's better than it was.
Yeah.
So these young adults are allowed to stay in services. They opt in.
Because a lot of them 21 mentally, they may still be like 12.
Yes, and a lot of trauma and
Yeah.
delays that play into that. School moves, and you miss a lot of educational moments. You miss the stability, and so at 18, chronologically you're 18, but really you're not.
Yep.
So even at 21, it's difficult to be on your own in this economy, to live with no support.
Yeah.
So we are that support right now. There are maybe 10, 15 programs like this in the state, maybe 20.
Wow.
It's grown. When I first started that part of the program in 2017, there are about maybe 7, 8 that we can name. But it's getting better. It is getting better in terms of people wanting to do this work. And it is difficult work.
Yeah.
It's difficult work.
No, that's one reason I got out the field, because I'm like, I don't know how, I'm not comparing being a mental health worker to a police officer, but I'm
Right.
like, I don't know how cops go home and just turn it off, because
Right.
just being a mental health professional, there were some days like I'm going home and I'm like, dude, this is emotionally draining. And then it's hard not to, you come home to your family and like
Yep.
what happened throughout the day doesn't spill into your home life.
It bleeds into your life.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of how, I got into this, because I was a director many years ago for a foster care agency. We placed kids in foster homes.
Mm-hmm.
And I became a foster parent after I left that job.
Oh, wow.
And so it just stayed with me.
So you got a big old heart.
Oh, yeah, something like that. Or maybe I got some screws loose too. I don't know. But I became a foster parent, and my foster daughter, she's just my daughter now.
Yeah.
She's 33, and her children, one of them lives with me, and I'm raising her fully. So I'm a parent through that. So it is part of your life. When you're in it, you're in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do have to take a break from it. I took a break for a little while and I did marketing for a few years, because I can't do this. It is draining. It can wear you out. But when your heart's in it, you give back in some way. You're helping people, whether it's your job title or not. So.
Yep. So let's go back further. So like now hearing a little bit more about that from you, where did this all start? Give us your background. Like, how did you even get into this field? Where'd you go to school? Where'd you grow up? All that stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up on a small farm in rural Charlotte County, Virginia. Nobody knows where that is, but it's a couple hours from here.
Yeah.
And
Farm girl.
Yeah, pretty much.
So like chickens, cows, all that.
What my great grandmother had chickens, and my grandfather he did hogs. So there were pigs and all the farmland. And
So
I was
you
raised by my
you had
grandparents.
that good bacon growing up.
Oh yeah, the good sausage, the real sausage, right? Not a fan of killing time though, because it's just a whole lot.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I grew up. My grandparents raised me, and so that's kind of like my first introduction because I very well could have been a foster kid.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for those two people that said, "Nope, I got it. We're going to take me and my sister in." And raise us like their own. It was great. And then my parents are still involved. They got themselves together, and I have a great relationship with both of them too. But my grandparents are my foundation, which is what Sarah's Den is named after. Sarah is my grandmother, and the safest place for me and my sister when I was growing up was her den. So I'm getting a little emotional. I wasn't expecting that today. But Sarah's Den is a thrift store right now on Broad Street, and we do a lot more than thrifting. Okay, that's just the thing that gets you in the door. But we work with the homeless population. Like I said, the safest place was for us was in her den, and we're doing the same thing for people who are down on their luck. We do a free giveaway every single day that we're open Monday through Friday, where we're giving away clothes. We don't ask questions. If you need it, you can take it.
Yeah.
But we're also selling stuff on the inside, so we need you to come in and purchase when you can. But if you need it, it's on the sidewalk, like a sidewalk sale. You can just come and get it. We don't ask questions. So
I got 2 bins of clothes that I've been looking to do something with.
Well,
those
we
are yours
can
on the way out the
them.
door.
I can put them in my car right now.
Yep.
Because we, like I said, there's a nice thread for how we're able to do it. We're either giving it away, we are selling it at the lowest prices you can ever see.
Yep.
Or we're able to just repurpose it and make sure that it gets into the hands of people who need it the most.
Nice.
People who have fires. I had a lady. She was literally running by the store, saw what we had, and stopped. And she stuck her head in. She said, "I'm just fleeing my abusive husband right now, and I have nothing." And she grabbed some clothes, and she was like, "God bless you." She kept going. I didn't even get a chance to respond. I'm like, wow, okay.
Jeez.
Impact.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important part for us is to be impactful and being just transparent with people. Like, this is what it is. Yes, we're going to sell some of this stuff because we got to keep the lights on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we do give away a great deal of it.
Let's go back to the den.
Yeah.
So what was it about your grandmother's den that you found safety in?
Okay, so Sarah Pulliam, if you even met her once, you would know that she was hilarious. She had a great sense of humor. She was caring. She was no nonsense.
Ain't no big mamas like that no more.
Exactly.
Ain't no big mamas like that.
Exactly. She could tell you something in love, and it's like,
Yeah.
make you think. And you're like, okay, I need to make a change in my attitude or the way I'm presenting myself or how I'm saying something. You know, I don't want to come off as that person. And she said it in such a way that it wasn't offensive.
Yeah.
It was probably funny.
Yeah.
And you're like, but there was truth in that, you know? And so she's always instilled in my sister and all of her kids to be self-sufficient and to earn your keep. And she used to say, a man that don't work, don't eat. Like, it's like, oh, okay. You know, like we have to do things for yourself. You know, she told me, I was driving in the car with her. I was probably like 13 years old. She pulls over on the side of the road and she said, you have to always have your own money. And it's not even having a conversation about this.
Yeah.
You always need to have your own money. You don't depend on a man to buy things for you. You have to have your own. And she put the car and kept on going. I'm like, where'd that come from? But I learned, like, those were nuggets that as I got older, I'm like, you can't depend on anybody to do things for you that you can do yourself.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going to have help along the way. That's normal. But I'm not going to look for you to do things for me that I can do for myself. And I've always had that in my mind. And I instilled that in my kids, and the kids that I work with. you got to do it for yourself so you can be sufficient and self-sufficient and live on your own and live a good life.
Yeah, that's a big part of, I think, a society that we're missing right now in terms of we don't have the matriarch of the family anymore to drop those life lessons and gems. Like, I mean, they'd give you a sermon, put a plate of fried chicken in front of you, like feed your soul, feed your spirit.
Gosh.
Like, we just don't have that anymore.
Nope. She was a cook. She was a great cook. So she would bake. So she made the best rolls in town. And to this day, I've never put a roll in my mouth like that.
Don't let my uncle hear you say that, because he got the best rolls.
All right. Okay. I will take that. I'd take him up on that. My grandmother passed away in 2017, and no one in our family except my aunt. She tries it. God bless her, but it ain't that. It ain't that. Nobody got the recipe down like her. So, just missing some of those things in our lives. Yeah, for sure.
What were the jobs that you had prior to even getting into this field? Did you go straight into mental health?
No. So, yes, I did actually. So I'm a graduate of Virginia Union.
Nice.
Went to Union for my undergrad. Left there and went to UNC Chapel Hill for my grad program. I went advanced standing. So I graduated from Union on Sunday. Moved on Tuesday, Wednesday, took practice test on Thursday, and was in the classroom on Friday.
Jeez.
Yes, it was insanity, okay? It was insane. And from there, I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill, had a job offer lined up by February. We graduated in May, went to work the next Monday, no break. All my friends were on vacation. Yeah. They were in Cancun, and I was at work. So it was kind of wild. And so I've been working in mental health from that point. I was a supervisor. Somebody crazy enough, fresh out of school, gave me a job to be a supervisor of an intensive in-home program, mental health program. And I just kind of went through that, moved around. I was in Lynchburg for a while.
Oh, that's where I'm from.
Really? Yeah. How about that? Okay,
yep.
Okay. I was there for about 4 years or so.
What company did you work for in Lynchburg?
I worked for the Alliance for Families and Children.
I didn't work for that company.
Okay. Well, I think they've changed their name now, rebranded, so they're not there anymore either. But I worked for them and learned a lot there. That's really kind of where I understood like the nonprofit world, because I worked for a nonprofit there.
Yeah.
So we worked with pregnant and parenting teenagers.
Okay, yeah.
So I've kind of been in this most of my career.
What got you, like, at what age were you like, this is my calling? Like, for me, I always feel like one of my favorite sayings is that the most expensive real estate in the world is a graveyard, because so many people go 6 feet under with their dreams still in them. And I feel blessed just that I didn't recognize what I want to do for my life until I was 30 years old, which to me is pretty late. I'm like, man, if I had figured this out when I was 20, this empire would be a whole lot bigger than it is now. Right. But I come to the point where I realize I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at this moment in life, and we'll continue to grow from there. Yeah. So for you, when did you come to this realization that like this is the place for me?
Well, I was probably I did my freshman year at college at Union, and I wanted to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. So that was the plan. And I bombed out. Like the first year, like it was so bad. Like my grades were so bad the first semester. Actually, the whole first year. Over summer, I got the little pink paper in the mail and said, "Don't come back. You need to take a little break and get yourself together."
Yep, I was on academic probation my whole first year of college.
Yep, that was me. And I took a break and I did some volunteering. I enrolled at Longwood, trying to figure it out. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So I went there for a semester and dropped out. I said, this is not it. Education is not what I want to do.
What year did you drop out?
That first semester and a half, so that first year that I was there. And I was volunteering at Prince Edward High School. This is middle school, Prince Edward Middle School. And this is where I realized what I wanted to do. There I was shadowing some teachers, and it was class like 26 kids. Yep. And we were doing lesson plans and got to walk around and helping people with their work. And there was one kid that just wasn't firing all the pistons, and I would spend all of my time with him. And this teacher, she said, "Look, you got 25 other kids that need your attention. Yeah. You can't focus on that one." And I'm like, yes, I can. Yeah. This is not going to work for me. Mm-hmm. And that's when I looked up what social work was. And I'm like, this kid has so many situations going on at home that he was bringing into class. And I knew about them. And there was nothing I could do about them in the academic role. I said, nope, I got to do something about it. So that was the turning point, and that's when I went into social work.
Yeah. I think I just saw a story yesterday. Teddy Bridgewater, former NFL quarterback. He's a head coach for a high school football team. And he just got suspended because he provided some of the kids with food, transportation. Like, these are kids that were in need, and he just went in his own pocket and helped them out, and he got suspended from that job. Like, academia, for some reason, the way that's structured, like, they don't enable you to help people, which is the opposite of what you would think everybody that gets in that role is what they're looking to do.
Right. A lot of limitations.
Yeah.
A lot of limitations. So that was my turning point, and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And once I got into the field, I had straight A's.
Yeah.
4.0 from that point forward. And I was like, wow, I found what I was supposed to be doing.
Yep.
So.
When you're being forced to learn things that you have absolutely no interest in. That's why I still go back and forth on, we were talking on the way up here, like we both have 4-year-old kids right now. And my oldest is 5. And I'm just like thinking of like how I'm going to coach them along the way in terms of, because I went to school along with, dropped out of the junior level because I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship was a cuss word on the college campus at that point in time. So I was like, there's no point in me continuing to go into debt, to get a piece of paper that I know I'm not going to use. So I'm out. I tell people all the time, I think there are only 3 positions that you have to go to college for. You're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a teacher. Outside of that, this whole business I built, I learned all this off of YouTube.
Wow.
I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know how to turn these cameras on, nothing. Just learned it all from YouTube.
Amazing.
But I go back and tell people, you don't even have to go to college to be a lawyer. You just have to pass the bar. That's probably really hard to pass the bar without going to college, but a whole show was made off of that called Suits, where the guy he was a genius and read law books and was able to pick that up.
That's amazing.
With what you do, and especially in the Virginia area, and how many years have you been operating these businesses?
So 15 years for PICF, and it'll be 15 years. No, we just had 15, so it'll be 16 years this December.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Well, first off, congrats.
Thank you.
Getting past, I think, 3rd year and 7th year are the biggest years for entrepreneurs.
Yes, and those were the years that I almost shut it down. Like, I'm about to shut it down. Yeah.
I'm
getting over the hump.
Just having a conversation with somebody about this yesterday. I fully believe at this point in my life and career that 90% of success is just not stopping.
Yes.
Like, you are always going to come into hard. Jeff Bezos has hard times.
Yes.
But if you just keep going, there is always something on the other end of that hill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fully convinced of that.
Just keep moving, keep moving.
So over that 16-year period, let me ask you a very personal question. Do you feel you've made a dent in this community from the work that you've been doing from the last 16 years? Because that was the part where I had to step away from that industry because I felt like no matter how much I was doing, because there were some clients where it's just like, if I could get them to brush their teeth twice that week, that was a massive goal. And I'm just like, I personally need to see more progression to feel like I'm doing something. Do you feel that you and your organization have made a dent?
So it's funny you should say that. I was driving into here today, and my daughter's in the back seat. Okay, so it's like I know, like it's like I can see the tangible effects of my work in what we're doing. But I got a Facebook friend request from a young man that I used to work with many, many years ago. And I used to teach him to read. And at the time, he wasn't getting it. Like, okay, I'm not sure he's going to make it out of high school. And you don't see those things in the moment when you're right there, hands-on. Like, you don't know. There's no way for you to know what you're doing if it's going to make an impact in their life. But you keep feeding, you keep watering, you keep encouraging. You don't stop your part of the journey. What they do with it is totally up to them.
Absolutely.
This is on you. This is how I feel fulfilled, knowing that I did the best job in helping them to brush their teeth today, in giving them an apple today. Like I did this yesterday. Like, you need an apple because I want you to learn about eating fruits and vegetables. I don't know what's going to happen after that. But I got a Facebook friend request from this kid that I'm like, hey, I don't even recognize you because you're now all grown up, like a grown man. And he's meditating, and he has videos where he sends these videos. He has people following him where he's sitting and meditating. And doing mindfulness. And I'm like, this is incredible. Like, these are things that I'm talking about, just little blimps in the moment when he was 9, 10 years old. Now he's 28, 30, almost 30 years old. And it's a whole thing for him. You don't know what your impact is. You just have to do your part.
Absolutely.
And that's how I feel about it. You know, I've had kids. Sometimes you don't get the feedback. It doesn't come back to you.
Oh, yeah.
You may not get it, but sometimes it does. And Facebook was one of those ways. I had a young lady. She said, "You helped me to read in a mentoring program many years ago." She has a PhD now.
Ooh.
I'm like, I did that? And she remembers it. And she says, "I just want to honor you today, da-da-da." I'm like, wow. You're a scientist.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, you don't see it always, but even just the small things, acknowledge them for where they are, because that's just a stake. You put a flag here, celebrate it, move on, and then people have more obstacles that they have to go through, but you don't know what they're pulling from. So you're talking about the matriarchs, right? And not having them to drop those seeds. I do consider what we do.
I do consider
that. We're dropping that. And I try to instill that in my staff so that they can do it as well to the best of their ability, because I can't do it all. And this is their journey, too, to learn those things.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's how we make impact.
Those moments, we were talking about me going to play golf later today, and, like, one thing you said there reminded me of the game of golf is, like, you can be having the worst round, but it's that one shot that you hit that's just so clean, you picked it perfect, lands right on the green, and in that moment you're like, this is why I play the game.
This is why.
And it's those moments, like getting those messages, because I've had some kids come back years later that I mentored, and it was like, number one, you don't recognize them because they were little boys, little kids when you're working with them, and they've come back and be like, "Hey, Mr. Sam, like I'm married now, like I got this going on, man. Like the time you took with me when you were working with me when I was like 13, 14 years old, man, I just appreciate you so much." And like you feel in those moments when you're working with them, like they don't get it, like they ain't listening to me, but like it's planting those seeds where like those are things. That's the interesting thing about the human brain is like all the information we receive, it's stored in there somewhere.
It is.
And it's just waiting for that right moment in life where you have to pick it out and actually use it. And you're like, oh, that's what that lesson was. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Yep. Talk about the other organization. So you're talking more about the for-profit. What about the nonprofit?
So Sarah's Den, we started that when we moved. Okay, so back up a little bit. It's a reboot. Sarah's Den is a reboot. Back in 16 years ago when we did PICF, the way this even came about, even a thought, we were on 18th Street, right there on Broad, that little area by the Exxon. Had a cute little office there. I was doing consulting. That was my plan. I really thought when I came into, I jumped in this because I worked for a marketing firm. We were doing marketing, working with hospitals and children's hospitals, and we got laid off. And I said, for 6 months, I'm going to go consult. That's what I'm going to do. So for 6 months, I'll consult. Then I'll go back into the real world. That was the plan. Well, what ended up happening is during those 6 months, I had more work than I could even handle. I had to hire people. And then we got an office space. So we're down 18th Street, Broad, down there in Shackle Bottom. And coming in, we're doing consulting, not worrying or even thinking about the community that we were in, which was our fault. So every morning I was coming in, and there was a homeless man laying on my stairs. And I'm like, I pay $1,800 a month for the rent here. This is not what I'm looking for. That's the immediate thought. But there's nothing I can do about it because I'm actually in his home right now. This is where he sleeps at night. So instead of, calling the cops or something crazy like that, I would go to that McDonald's right there. I'd get a breakfast sandwich for me and a coffee, and a breakfast sandwich and a coffee for him. He never spoke. I just sit there and walk on in my building and go and do what I need to do. Had some interns from VCU, and they stepped over him one day, and they came in like, "Miss Tanya," I'm laughing because it's funny. "Miss Tanya, there's a homeless man outside, and we don't know what to do." I said, "What, did you speak to him?" It was one of those summers, it's like 100 degrees outside. And I said, "Well, get him a bottle of water, and let's go talk to him." And they're like, "Okay." And we did. And we started talking to him, and he was nonverbal, clearly in psychosis, but he pointed down to his feet. And I couldn't understand. I'm like, what is he trying to tell me? Pointed out to his feet, and I looked at his feet, and his toes were on the ground. He had slit a hole through his sneakers because they didn't fit, and his toes were swinging over. And I said, oh, you need shoes. But he couldn't tell me.
Yeah.
So immediately I go to Facebook. Facebook has been my friend. I said, I have a friend here. He needs some shoes. I'm guessing between a 9 and a 10. Does anybody have a pair of shoes you can bring down? That turned into a snowball. Somebody's like, I don't have 10, but I have 11. I don't have this, but I have that. Does he need this? Does he need that? People start dropping stuff off at my door every day. And so we had a little corner in our cute little office that was designated for the homeless population and what we were doing. That snowballed into a whole room. And then it took over our computer lab. It was wild what was happening. The computer lab was extinct. It was like, we're not even doing that anymore. So we started doing these giveaways on the street every Wednesday. I think we did them every Wednesday. We partnered with another organization, and they did a feeding. So we had clothes. They had food. We're giving away clothes. We never asked questions. We just doing this. This was all a part of just goodwill, right? But it became bigger than my consulting firm.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. So it was like, okay, this is taking over. I can't afford to do this because all my time and energy is now going to this.
Yep.
And I can't do this. So we closed it down. I said, I'm not
Close
doing
the
it
consulting
anymore.
down.
We closed the clothes closet down.
Oh, gotcha.
Closed the clothes closet down for a few years. It's like, okay, that was a thing in the past. A lot of lessons learned. We helped a lot of people, but we're moving on.
Yep.
We moved our office to Henrico for a little while. All these things were going on. Long story short, we ended up coming right back downtown to another office here, and the office space, the apartment buildings that we have, on the front of it is a storefront, and we're leasing the entire building. Nice. And so we had 10 apartments and the storefront. It's like, what are we gonna do with this? And it was like, easy, but this time we're gonna do it smart. We're gonna be a lot smarter than before, and now it's thrift. And we have some income coming in because before there was none. So we have some income coming in. And now that's how Sarah's Den got its reboot. And it's like, okay, this is what we're going to name it. Because before it didn't really have a name. It was just a clothes closet, you know. So that's how we kind of rebooted that. And it has been great. I think we're going into year 5 for
That's
Sarah's
amazing.
Den. Yep.
See, a big thing I want people to take away from that story you just shared is you were open to whatever was coming your way. Like when the right opportunity, you said, if I can do this, I'm going to help, and we're going to go this direction. And by allowing that into your life, it blossomed into something that you didn't even expect. Like, too many people get, like, laser focused and like, this is what I got to do, this is how I got to do it, versus, like, sometimes you just got to let the cards lie as they may. Yeah. Like, let's roll with the flow. See how things end up. If this works out, it's great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We move on to the next thing.
Exactly. And that truly is how a lot of things are. Some things don't fit into what you're trying to do, and don't force them because if it's meant to be, it will be.
Exactly.
And, you know, I'm a believer, and it's like, you know, when I spoke to God, like, this is what we need. And I went to some developers and I said, we need to be able to contain our young adults so that in these apartment complexes they're safe and we can monitor them, and we don't have other people that are preying on them. It would be great if we could just have a hallway. That's what I asked for. The smallness of my mind said, it's a hallway we could have all of our units on one hall. And the developer says, what about a whole building? And I was like, say what now? And it was like they were renovating a building. It was in process already. It was ending. It was on the ending side. It was prepared.
Look at God.
And we walked right in.
That's it.
And it's like, what?
Yep.
And we just went into our second building that same way in the Manchester area.
Nice.
Same way. So we got 8 additional units there.
Love that. It's
great.
As we close this up today, I want you to leave us with one note. What's one thing that you want the listeners, the viewers, to understand about your story, understand your mission, or maybe just a tip for their life if they're looking to pursue something, start something on their own? What would be your advice to them?
My advice would be to be open to the possibilities that are out there, and don't limit yourself. But also be prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared for the ups and the downs, because there are some really, really high highs that can really take over,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, this is the way
You
it's
feel like
supposed
you the
to be.
man. I
Yes.
ain't never gonna stop.
Yes,
man.
but there are going to be some really, as equally as high, there are some lows. And have some vetted supports.
Yeah.
Not the new folk. I mean, that's all, it's fine and good, but you need somebody that's going to be there through the ugly parts too. That's going to stick there with you and be by your side. My sister is that for me. You know, that those ugly, we've been together for all our lives, you know,
Yep.
the good, bad, and ugly, but, you know, somebody who can handle it, you know, and be okay with when you cry and
Yep.
or when you're crying out or when you're angry. You got to have somebody that's going to be there to pick you back up, because those lows get low.
Amen to that. Amen
And
to that.
it's not always peaches and roses, but it's definitely worth the journey. And it's a journey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that. If people want to reach out to you, they want to support, where can they
Yeah.
go to get more information?
Absolutely. 2 ways you can reach us. For the PICF, that's the Young Adults Program, you can go to our website. It's thepicf.com. If you want to reach out for our nonprofit, that's Sarah's Den, SARAHDEN.com. Check us out. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You can Google us. Google my name. I pop up. We'd love to hear from you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.